by a lot of players because everybody, when they jump on that Hunter bandwagon, what have you, Hunter's just really strong right now in almost every iteration, but they tunnel on Spell Hunter and they tunnel on Death Rattle Hunter. Those are like the two widely accepted best Hunter decks. But when you're playing a lineup that's more focused on aggression, I love to cast it, but every once in a while, it's just nice to see some good old-fashioned damage thrown to the face from the hand, and that's what the Aggro Mage does. It scratches that itch.
Well, you're going to get to see some of it in action. It's a little bit weird because as much as we like to call it Tempo Mage or Aggro Mage, this deck doesn't have a very strong turn one, if any, turn one.
Rip. And
it's just going to struggle a little bit to get started. But it does have some explosive turns. Yesterday, we saw Frozen, for example, really play patiently, almost like it was a tempo deck in a way, in the sense that he tried to swing the board and grab momentum and then leverage really cheap discounted spells or cheap discounted secrets in order to climb back into the game. And it makes sense because Frozen practiced a lot with APX Void. In fact, Frozen, I think last year told me APX was one of his closest friends in Hearthstone. And everyone by now recognizes APX Void as like the guy to play any aggressive mage strategy, period. I anticipate that Hoej very much is locked in on that. Plus, Hoej is a very good aggro player. He's historically always favored aggro matchups. In fact, it was his claim to fame. Back when he first won his tournament that he qualified for, it was like his first qualified tournament. He ended up winning. It was the Viagame House Cup. And it was like off the back of Mech Mage. And everyone was like, whoa, Mech Mage, you just play Tinker Town Technician and just like get spare parts and go face. But then, very quickly, Hoej just kept proving himself over and over how good he was.
Yeah, and then fast forward to 2017 Spring Championship in Shanghai, China. Won the whole thing, qualified for the World Championship with an aggressive strategy. Right. So, still staying true to his roots, I guess, so to speak, when it comes to...
It was mainly his Quest Rogue play in the Spring Championship,
but Quest Rogue was
really
just
interesting.
So good at the time. You could put it in literally any lineup. It was almost an aggro deck. It wasn't the anti-control deck that it is now. It did have good anti-control game, but you completed the quest on like turn 5, turn 6 on average back in the day before the changes took place. So I would even lump it in with an aggro strategy back then. Now it's much different. Cockroach of Hearthstone.
In a matter of speaking, yes. So right now, Hoej's kind of introduced with a little bit of a tough decision because Sorcerer's Apprentice is like the entire cornerstone of this hand. It's so powerful for like multiple shooting stars, Primordial Glyph, but it just feels like there's so many easy ways for the Hunter to remove it that if you don't get a good Sorcerer's Apprentice turn, that's it. You basically are stuck top decking and then you have to get lucky to bail yourself out of a situation. But if you don't take this threat serious enough, things like Crackling Razor Maw or other ways that you can synergize with beasts can really punish. So this is a tough spot for Hoej. And Thijs, he has to play around both the counterspell and the explosive runes possibility. So if he coins first, he's trying to see if the counterspell comes out, and then he has Animal Companion, and then his follow-up play is either the Dire Frenzy or just Timberwolf Animal Companion. Definitely don't mind Dire Frenzying a Rush minion. Just gives you a lot of board impact.
Yep.
It's perfectly fine.
Also cheap.
Also very cheap. Stargazer Luna. Wow, so there's
in a couple turns, Hoej can just go off.
Yeah.
But until then...
But it's the couple turns part that's always getting you. Counterspell gets a lot better because a coin is just used.
But just playing Counterspell and then passing doesn't really do much. You're still going to take the 4 damage. And Thijs has multiple minions to play to support this Lynx.
Well, Thijs also knows that it's Counterspell at that point. It's like, he does, because it's both secrets up. So then he just knows, okay, I'm not playing Animal Companion, and then if I play Explosive Runes, I play Timberwolf first, and then Crackling Razor Maw.
Yep.
What to do?
So it kind of gives away that little bit of information. Hoej's other option is to try and fish for something with Primordial Glyph. I just don't think he wants to play anything here, though. So Counterspell it is, just to try and buy him some time.
Wow, that is sick tempo. Turn 4 Counterspell.
Well, Dan, that's why they call it Tempo Mage.
If you attack fast enough, you get the 5 damage. Oh, not enough APM. Thijs. Obviously, just jokes. This adapt could be really big with the Wind Fury, but does not get anything in terms of damage, but Divine Shield's still very nice.
Always in some trouble.
He's in trouble, but he still has some potential to unlock. The only problem that's on my mind now is, does Hoej stabilize before it's too late, before enough damage has been dealt, and Thijs just pretty much has to hero power and kill command for the win?
Yeah.
Because it's very rapidly approaching that state. And without any of his spell damage, Shooting Star is great, but it's just tickling that Lynx, which is very problematic. Thijs not also swinging with the weapon.
I'm surprised by that.
Starting to become pretty interesting, because does he anticipate this game going for at least 4 more turns?
Well,
maybe. I mean, that's probably when the game is decided.
Yeah, I would say so. And Hoej has just been holding on to cards. He's just played secrets. So what can you expect that to be? Either Hoej's hand is dead, in which case you're going to win the game anyway, or Hoej's going for a big swing turn, in which case your board's going to get removed, and you would wish that you haven't swung with that candle shot. In either of those scenarios, you wouldn't swing with candle shot.
Hoej can he just effectively clear the board? Almost. He can Sorcerer's Apprentice, Shooting Star, Fireball, Shooting Star again. That's his entire turn, and then his Sorcerer's Apprentice dies to the Diremal Swing, and then his opponent develops. And all that's remaining in his hand is Stargaze Luna and Primordial Glyph, which is not the worst thing, because Primordial Glyph works very well with Stargaze Luna in particular.
Yeah.
So Hoej instead chooses to just, allow the Crackling Razor Maw to live, get that damage in. And for Hoej's sake, he better hope that this is the worst that's happening.
Yeah.
And it is not, because with Fireball used, Tundra Rhino is free to get onto the board, and now Thijs recognizing that he's at the halfway point, looking bad for the Aggro Mage.
And Hoej's played this patiently, and now it's time to do something. But the Kirin Mage pickup is awkward because he can't play Stargazer Luna. He picked up a cheap spell. All right, Tome of Intellect it is.
Tome of Intellect loses the discount of the Primordial Glyph, though.
Yes, but he can play Stargazer Luna, Tome of Intellect.
And Mage got nerfed again with the Tome of Intellect and the Icicle cards going into the Classic set.
Well, Tome of Intellect, I think, has...
It's good for, like, Quest Mage.
Yeah, it's good for Quest Mage, and honestly, sometimes it's good elsewhere, too. All right, I think... actually, just kind of... Stargazer Luna just getting thrown to the board, but I guess it takes some pressure off of his face.
Tome of Intellect can also get, another Shooting Star, an Arcane Missiles.
I wonder.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean,
it needs to be one mana.
Mirror Image is also okay. Like anything.
Yeah.
Wow,
anything that costs 1 mana.
Oh! I knew it.
The future is ours.
You wanted to protect it in case he didn't draw something that he could play that turn. I get it. 1 card draw is pretty mild.
I don't know if it's mild. I think you can use every single card you can get, especially if Deathstalker Rexar is available this turn. Thijs picks up Unleash the Hounds, but I think he knows it's Counterspell, right? So he shouldn't go for that.
Yeah.
Does lose his hero power, but can deal with the Luna. Does he use his 1/1, or does he use the Tundra Rhino? I think the Rhino is just so valuable. Especially because you have the Build the Beast. Just build something for 5 mana or less, get immediate charge.
Yep.
Double Anomaly. Guess that's your best play. Cosmic Anomaly just to absorb the hit.
I think Kirin Mage would probably be better here if that's the case. It's less mana
guess that's
efficient,
true,
but you've
yeah.
already used 2 secrets.
That's true, that's true.
You have no card draw. It's the same stat line, and you would get no... I guess Cosmic Anomaly is a must kill, whereas the other one's not.
Whew!
Whoa, okay.
1, 2... No! I mean, that's kind of close to the average result here.
Oh boy, okay.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. High main. 9 damage. Hoej's dead unless he... I don't even know what he can even get. It has to be Primordial Glyph into like the most nutty spell possible. Just no time.
Yep.
Thijs takes game 1.
Yeah, Hoej tried to play that slow because that's just the way his early hand panned out. Thijs had a good early game, and just was able to kind of snowball that to a victory. I feel like
Because according to stats, Thijs is unfavored against even paladin in all of his decks. So, what do you think about his ban? Because is it his lineup specifically that's built it? Is it his tech cards that he's like?
if you look at stats alone, I think that even paladin's the best ban with Odd Rogue second. Am I correct in assuming that?
It's even paladin with mid-range hunter second.
Oh, really? Okay.
But it's fairly close with in the stats.
So professional players have a different view of even paladin than the stats tell you, right? They also have a different view of even shaman than the stats tell you. Whereas even paladin, even shaman are good ladder decks because they don't have too many polarized matchups. They're just good decks all around. And when you're playing those types of decks on ladder, you're going to end up with a higher win rate. But in tournament play, when everything's open, when you can account for everything in your opponent's deck list, and players are playing at the very highest level of play and playing around things like not having a minion on board going into turn 6, which not a lot of people do on ladder, then even paladin drops a lot. Its stock drops a lot. And so I think that makes sense, not banning even paladin, because you're much more comfortable playing against that, and you don't get blowout wins like you do against Odd Rogue sometimes. The mid-range hunter I can see banning mid-range hunter, but maybe does expecting Hoej to ban Odd Rogue away, does that change things on the other side as well?
There could be some mind games in it, but
I think it's a toss-up between mid-range hunter and Odd Rogue in my mind.
Sure. That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
That being said, let's kind of get center back in this game. Hoej has the Sorcerer's Apprentice and the ability to just go off with this Mana Addict, and the damage already done. Even if Mana Addict dies right here, right now, it already kind of got what Mana Worm wanted to do, which is an early game damage. I mean, as soon as turn 3, Thijs is at 22. Now, Thijs has some really good tools. He's got Call to Arms, he's got Crystal's Kangor, he's got True Silver Champion. It just takes time to set it up, and that's what's scary. And now, even more damage is coming in because Hoej has access to Fireball. 9 damage.
You're probably just going to get that away right now, because Fireball's never going to be more than, well, most likely not going to be more than 9 damage.
Yeah, on average, if you're maximizing your damage with the spell damage, like Cosmic Anomaly or the Mana Addict, it's generally pretty good.
All right, Spellzerker may change things a little bit, because you present 2 targets for Thijs to hit, and if you think that one of these minions is going to survive, either one adds damage to Fireball in some way or another, but they also add minion damage on the board by sticking around, and you get to fit in the ping. So it's like net same damage, but there's a chance that the other minion sticks around for even longer than 1 turn.
This is a card. I think this is actually a very special card to Thijs.
Yes.
High Priest of the Call was his card reveal, I believe.
Yeah.
So having him play it feels a little bit iconic, if you will.
It's very minimal what its gain is, because a lot of times you're going to get the effect of any healing that you're going to play anyway. It just gives you the option of, let's say your opponent doesn't play a minion, and then you play the Call on turn 3 and True Silver on turn 4. You gain 2 additional health from it. But there's a reason why most players don't include it, is because the effect is minimal, and because the list is real tight.
Yeah, you already have Timeout, and Timeout is supposed to help you effectively gain all that armor in life so you can stall for a turn.
Yeah, like if you look at every card in the OTK Paladin, there's not too much wiggle room. Maybe like Potion of Heroism. A lot of players are cutting a timeout for something else, but like the bounce effects, the Call to Arms, the Steeds, the Tarim, the Lanessa, those, and all the 2-drops, which are needed for Call to Arms, are all, it's real tight.
I would argue that the Lanessa Spiker Steed can be replaced if something better comes along to make it more efficient with draw and removal.
Yeah, but right now I just don't think there's anything
right now,
better.
no. But I can
especially
see that
not the Call.
I can see that in the future being replaced, if especially when rotation hits. Always removing the Christmas Kangor, absolutely critical. Otherwise, well, Thijs can just run away with the game in terms of healing.
Yeah, I honestly think Thijs is at the point where he's going to run away with the game already.
Yeah.
Because he's got Call to Arms plus a Spectre Seed to follow it up. He basically needs Aluneth at this point, which is very early on in the game to say, he has to have it.
How does Aggro Mage just look so good and so bad at the same time? It is just, It's two sides. It is the most bipolar deck in the metagame. It's just you either win very convincingly and just like, wow, how does this deck ever lose? And then you're like, what? And then you have draws like this where it's like you all in early and your opponent's like, oh, I just remove your board.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I lose.
Well, and right now it seems even worse, honestly, because almost every deck in the current tournament metagame is not polarized at all. People are playing even Paladin, even Shaman, even Warlock, Spell Hunter. All those decks don't have many terrible matchups and don't have many great matchups.
Yeah, it's usually like 60-40 at most.
At most, either way, right?
Not like Odd Warrior versus Odd Rogue, it's like 80-20.
Yes. So there's a big difference with how the aggro mage fits.
Well, he's trying to punish people who bring like the Death Rattle Hunters, you know,
But not many people brought those strategies.
Right. In fact, some people decide to straight up counter it, like try to play control decks, you know, and really wreck them.
Hoej just looking at his fingers, contemplating his existence right now.
It's tough. I mean, I'm trying to imagine a world where he wins without Alaneth. And, I mean, even if he had Alaneth, Thijs has so much good stuff going on because he has the Spiker Steed, which, of course, he's very worried about with Counterspell. If he Spiker Steed into a Counterspell, that would actually give Hoej the opening to potentially come back if he draws Alaneth, because then Thijs passes turn, Hoej gets a stabilization. Yeah, Thijs can play Potion of Heroism. He does do a 1 damage to everything. Oh, he's just going for it?
Oh!
Let me think.
Wow. And he gets rewarded. I mean, how many counterspells are in Hoej's deck? It's just 1, so it's more likely to be Explosive Runes. But I don't know how Thijs can sit on that chair with nads that big. That is some big balls play. But he's really far ahead. So he's...
Yeah, I mean, he realized that Hoej has 1 card in hand. If it ends up being Counterspell, he takes 5 damage. Oh, no. And then he gets to play spells the next turn to follow it up, so...
Well, this sets up the Linessa as well, right? So he can Spiker Seed into Linessa. Although he's probably... Maybe, is he worried about the Explosive Runes? No, he should absorb it and put it down to 1 health. You can also Potion of Heroism and even improve it further. Like, if you Potion of Heroism and then play Linessa afterwards, it'll absorb the Divine Shield hit, so it doesn't lose health, and then I think it counts its health afterwards, in which case you take no damage.
Yeah.
I believe. I could be mistaken.
No, you're correct. The full battle cry resolves.
Yeah.
And now Hoej is never attacking the face with another minion for the remainder of the game.
I don't know. If he draws Alaneth, I think you Fireball face. I mean, at this point, I think Hoej might just hero power... Okay, well, he's hero powering Linessa, but I don't think it's like out of the world possibility that he starts just chucking stuff aggressively at the Paladin and hope that it gets there.
Yeah, I mean, Thijs is pretty much out of healing. Well, he is out of healing in his hand. But he's got plenty
what was
in his
that?
deck.
What was that, TJ?
Well, he draws Flashlight, so that's wrong.
He also has Shrivala in his deck. I mean, and he has Uther. He still has some pretty powerful heals in his deck remaining. I know what you mean, though. He was out in his hand.
He was out in his hand. So there was a world where he just never drew healing, and Hoej just drew burn for the remainder of the game in the perfect order.
Yeah. Another secret, which... I mean, I don't think he can play around the Explosive Runes to minimize damage, because I think that's his like ideal thing. He's like, okay, how do I take the least amount of damage possible? Sees as Explosive Runes. Now he can play Loot Hoarder.
Yeah. Imagine if the battle cry didn't fully resolve before the Explosive Runes came off, he would just die. Half the battle cry.
Yep.
It took away your health, and then Explosive Runes went off, and then you gain the armor.
Does Hoej hold this for the Cosmic Anomaly?
Or Stargazer Luna?
Or, well, Luna for Arcane Missiles is good. Fireball is a little bit clunkier. But you could fit it all in. There's like a couple more turns Hoej can hold on for hope. But that's all he has. It's hope. He's coming up on 10 mana, so even if he does draw Alaneth, he can Fireball and Alaneth and just like try to keep up with the mana expenditure.
What to do?
Checking. Thijs is at 12, but we know that he can heal up to 16 at least, depending on what he draws. And if I'm Thijs, I'm healing first. I'm a little bit concerned that my opponent's just throwing fireballs. True Silver Champion, that's heal as well.
Yeah, so heal left in his deck. He's got Uther of the Ebon Blade, which is just a ridiculous amount of healing. If he ever draws that, he just wins. Shirvala the Tiger. He's got another Flashlight.
Oh, yeah. And also, Hoej might die. I think this is his absolute last turn, if not already. Okay. Arcane Intellect. Draw 2 cards. What does he find? He finds another Arcane Intellect. That's kind of what he needs. But he needs more.
All right, time to go infinite. Yeah, he's dead.
Okay, Luna? This has to exactly hit. Like, it has to, like, remove the damage off the board. Which it kind of does.
Yeah, he's alive at 2 right now with Consecration in hand.
Yeah, Consecration Spiker Steed is...
All right, he's alive at 3 now.
Is it 4 damage, and he has 8? So he's alive at 1.
What?
True Silver plus the 4 attack, it's 8.
Alive at 3.
Huh?
What? Consecration's 2 damage.
Yeah, Spiker Steed is 2 damage.
Oh, Spiker Seed. I see what you mean. Okay.
I thought you were meaning
No,
TJ. You're like, what? And
my
I'm like,
previous point was that he's alive from Consecration. And so I had in my mind that he didn't have any extra damage.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because he's dead. There's no way he wins. He concedes. Thijs is up 2-0.
1 game away. And it seems like it's going to be down to Thijs' Even Warlock, which yesterday, it was almost a point of failure.
Yeah. But no matter what deck you have in any metagame,
Mage here is probably Hoej's best bet, but I mean, at this point, it's Conquest. You have to win with...
I've always called like the honorary final just because that gameplay had some of the, back at the time, some of the best Hearthstone we've ever seen with those Kaka versus Thijs.
That's right, that's right. What's really funny, too, is that in the Freeze Mage Mirror, which a lot of people point specifically at, with Thijs versus Kaka, both players told us that they felt really, like, that they played really badly, but they made some really good plays at the very end, and everyone's like, whoa, that was, like, the best played game ever. And Thijs was like, oh, man, like, I'm really glad that they think that because we both, like, messed up a lot, and they were, like, talking about it and laughing. But I think, you know, the point takeaway is that even despite being under pressure and playing bad, they were able to make some really spectacular plays to finish the game.
Yeah, also, I mean, the level of play from Hearthstone back in 2015 was much lower than it is today.
Yeah.
Players had access to less resources. They had smaller practice groups. The game hadn't been around for as long. So when we saw a play that today we would call, that's a pretty good play, back then it was mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Back then our brains would explode out of our skulls when we saw someone do something creative. So
yeah, we were just Neanderthals back then.
We
weren't fully evolved as, you know, as galactic high IQ specimens that we are now.
Yep.
But, you know, back then it was pretty mind-blowing. Kill commanding your high main, pinging your own face. These days, what's considered a high IQ play?
I don't know.
Not life tapping.
Yeah, not life tapping. We have to stretch so far these days to call something a high IQ play.
Well, I mean, it's largely because we see so many players play well that it almost desensitizes us.
Yeah.
But there were some really good plays yesterday. Xiao Ti playing the Tiger, for example, and not doing anything else. Or Muzzy's play with Druid yesterday was fantastic.
Yes, it was.
And Muzzy brings the only Druid. That's coming up next, by the way. After this series, if this concludes, Muzzy from USA up against Blood Trail, what could be a preview of the World Championship match. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, back into this game, Thijs already at 18, but we already knew that was going to happen. He has Hooked Reaver and he has a Spellstone. So he's going to be able to have some big swings on the board. And Hoej
What?
is ready with his Aluneth next turn. So this is going to be an explosive game. I do not expect this to get to like the 10 mana crystals point.
What to do?
But it could. I mean, who knows? Even Warlock has ability to hang in there. And then, you know, as much as Hoej has his Aluneth, Thijs has his Blood Reaver Gul'dan.
Wow, Arcane Intellect the turn before Aluneth is a little bit interesting, but just wants more cards. I was thinking maybe he just dumps his hand as much as possible there, Frostbolts the face.
Well, maybe he wants to Aluneth after he's already dumped his hand.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point, yeah.
Because the thing about Aluneth, it's really good for the fourth down field goal attempt. Like, you finally get the damage in, but you just need like that extra 12 burn, and then you use Aluneth to find the fireballs. Because even Warlock, I mean, they have double acidic Swampu. So if you play Aluneth on 6, they play Swampus and they develop like a mountain giant behind it. And it's like, wow, I just gave up so much tempo.
Yeah.
So instead, you can use Aluneth kind of like the ultimate infestation into the finish, so to speak.
That was a good sports ball reference, Dan. Aluneth is like Aluneth is like pulling the goalie.
Pulling the goalie. That's right. Yeah. I can't even follow up with a bad sports analogy after that one. You topped me, TJ. I can see it. So, you know, now Hoej has the opportunity to ping his own Spell Zerker and, well, kind of go nuts. He has double Frostbolt, Shooting Stars. I mean, he's got a lot of cheap spells, but one Sorcerer's Apprentice is also what really opens up this play. To the point where I wonder if Hoej's going to even play it a little bit safer in the sense of like maybe he Frostbolts the Giant so he can keep pushing, he can keep developing a little bit and then not give the Hooked Reaver up yet. Because the problem with Hoej going for big damage right now is if Hooked Reaver comes down and somehow swings the board, Hoej will be locked completely out of minion damage and also be inviting Thijs to start ending the game on his side. Like, you know, even Warlock's so good at just eventually locking you out and then ending the game in 2 turns.
Yeah, the other option is for him to Shooting Stars his own Spell Zerker to save the mana and then go for something like Frostbolt plus Cinderstorm.
Yeah, I like this play a lot from Hoej. I think in the end, it's a little bit of a painful exchange because, you know, it's so good for Frostbolt to get damage for 5. I mean, it effectively becomes a kill command. But, you know, patience and discipline is what really wins you the matchup against even Warlock as much as you want to rush it out and kill them. Thijs' end, dealing with that Spell Zerker that's damage is super crucial. And now this is Act 3, TJ, where one way or another, this game is going to end very soon. And I think because Hoej ended up taking a little bit slower, we'll end up getting to that elusive 10th mana crystal on both sides, which is going to be really crucial because of the Blood Reaver Gul'dan interaction.
Okay, this is somewhat interesting. Stargazer Luna, then you're kind of forced to play Mana Addict, unless you don't want to take any draws this turn and just try and stick it on the board.
Well, you got Glyph. So Glyph can also give you a cheap spell that you can use to draw immediately Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Ooh.
That is a key card. As soon as you play Aluneth, you can draw your card. Sorcerer's Apprentice will help you go off.
Yeah. He's thinking about whether to play it this turn, but I don't think that's ever a possibility. And also he's thinking about whether or not he wants to just play anything else. Because Glyph, outside of just picking the burn spell, he doesn't know what he wants to get from Glyph yet, right? He may need some removal to push through a taunt. He may need something different than just straight up burn damage. So he holds on to both and just goes for the Frostbolt play, which is a nice middle ground, I think, to try and protect these minions on board and force out some removal.
Yeah, and Mossy Heart already being used, by the way. This ends up lining up really well for Hoej because Thijs, he didn't want to use his coin, didn't want to like potentially take damage from the Spell Zerker, ends up playing Mossy Heart, completely reasonable, but I mean, this would have been also a very juicy Mossy Heart, but he only has 1 copy in his deck. Now, Thijs does still have some pretty good plays. He has up to 8 mana this turn, and back-to-back 8 mana plays are very powerful, whether he wants to remove a Spellstone and silence this turn, and then he can like Twilight Drake and Shroom Brewer. Like that should be pretty good. Things are still looking very good for Thijs at the moment, but Aluneth can change all of that, and Hoej might be approaching very rapidly the point where he has to Aluneth now because he might not have enough time anymore.
Yeah. I still think Thijs just has enough healing because Alunath takes a turn to load up. And then usually the first turn you can't play too much stuff. It's kind of like your prep turn for the turn where you kind of go off. And by that time, Thijs will have been able to play Shroom Brewer and have been able to play Blood Reaver Gul'dan, which is a burst of healing plus a good amount of healing each turn. So he's running out of time, and he's got to realize that. I wonder when Alunath is going to come down, but looks like this turn.
Yes, it should be this turn. I like playing the Arcanologist. Promoter Glyph will get cheaper because you have the Sorcerer's Apprentice. You might even pick up the second. Second Sorcerer's Apprentice is almost the entire key to Hoej's victory at this point. Although, you know, having one Sorcerer's Apprentice is still very nice with the Cosmic Anomaly. And now Thijs knows this little, you know, shadow boxing, if you will, this little preface is now coming to a conclusion for this story. Is Thijs going to close it out 3-0? Does he even acknowledge the board? He does. A trade into the Arcanologist.
Job's done.
Well, now Thijs knows he really doesn't have to worry about minion pressure too much. Whoa, okay.
That is some fire draws. I think Apprentice number 1 comes down here. I think you have enough mana to glyph because Hoej, hold on, you have 6 mana committed to the Cosmic Anomaly with the Sorcerer's Apprentice. That doesn't actually give you that much to work with. Maybe you just, maybe you glyph instead now. Frostbolt's good.
Frostbolt is good.
Wow, so here's like another thing too. TJ, imagine if Hoej was able to, like, you know, because he had opportunities to promote a glyph because he wasn't sure, but if he had Simulacrum, it would have been really nutty.
Yeah.
Can Cinderstorm for 7 and Frostbolt with the remaining mana as well as Arcane Missile. So basically, full-on spray and pray. TJ's Battle Royale strategy.
So if 2 of these missiles from either Cinderstorm or Arcane
Oh
Missiles
my
hit
gosh.
him, that's a good start.
Yeah.
So now he's going to Frostbolt for 5, which sets him up for double Fireball next turn to end the game should there be no healing. Oh no, because it killed the Plated Beetle.
Yeah. Boy, respecting the board presence.
Yeah.
Mountain Giant. That's a pretty bad draw here for Thijs. Oh my goodness. Thijs doesn't have a really good way to deal with the board without Hellfire or Defile. He might even have to life tap in this position.
Yikes.
The good news for Thijs, though, is that Blade River Gul'dan can come down next turn. The bad news, I can't think of a single demon he played this game.
Nope, he can play Hook River this turn. Yeah, he hasn't played Demon. No Vulgar Homunculus has come out. So while it'll give him a little boost of life, it's 10 mana, gain 5 is basically what it is. But it does bank for that hero power, but if you're only getting 3 a turn and not doing anything to remove the board, you're in a lot of trouble.
Almost out of time.
Ice has not seen a Fireball. He can only take off 1 minion this turn.
Yep. Bone Mare. That's good, too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he had a lot of good draws. He had 2 Hellfires, 2 Defiles. He had another Spellstone. He had a Bone Mare. There's a lot of draws here for Thijs that could have come out good, but that's definitely one of the better ones because he uses his mana very efficiently.
Yeah. Still so much for Hoej to do. He can Kirin Tor, Explosive Runes, Cinderstorm, Arcane Missiles, and Ping and set up for double Fireball. If he doesn't want to, if he wants to forgo one of those things.
That is not good. Defensive cards.
Well,
this is a Quest Mage discover.
Breath of Sindragosa does allow him to push more damage to the face with Cinderstorm and Arcane Missiles.
That was a nice Freudian slip there, TJ. I approve.
Wait, what did I say?
You said the breast of Sindragosa. In which case,
When roasted over a fire,
I'm sure
it's
there's,
delicious.
I'm sure there's some Rule 34 stuff about that, but Hoej, I mean, I think you're spot on. Like, he needs to find a way to stabilize the board to make sure he doesn't go the other way, and now he can actually ping. Everything works out really well.
We have many secrets.
That Mana Addict, by the way, chipping for a little bit every single turn. Don't sleep on that.
Yeah, it's dealt 3 damage so far.
Yeah, it's still getting in. Just a little bit, and every inch matters. I mean, he has double Fireball. Like, so if Thijs... Oh, here we go. Wait.
He's got 3 cards
He's
left.
at 3 cards. The damage is
nothing.
done. Oh, that's tough to evaluate. That is really tough to evaluate. But it's also a 3-2 to fight back on the board, too.
Yeah.
So many possibilities.
I believe also Explosive Runes was set, so Thijs has to evaluate like how much he wants to take damage. Like, so if he plays Shroom Brewer first,
Still net 2.
he still nets a little bit of damage.
Okay, he's dead.
There's no taunt minions, right? No Vulgar Homunculus?
I don't think there's a single Vulgar Homunculus. There's nothing. So with double Fireball plus Arcane Missiles, that's 21 damage.
15 damage from the Fireball, Arcane Missiles, plus the 5. Yeah, it's 21 damage. Thijs is dead. Even Warlock falls to the Aggro Mage. And you can see the power of Aluneth single-handedly carrying this game, but also fantastic play here from Hoej. Yes, he needed some fortunate things to happen, like the Arcane Missiles and the Cinderstorm. But I mean, that's why you play this deck, so you can account for all the possibilities and play with every single damage point. And hey, remember we said the Mana Addict chipping in for that little damage every single time? Without it,
I'm done talking. I'm out of here.
No, please, I need you, TJ. I need more double entendre Freudian slips, please.
We have turned our curse into our strength.
Guy's playing the Warlock.
Wow, you are just putting out all the titles of your sex tape today. All right, well, Hoej has the curve. Dire Mole. Hyena's not exactly the curve, but it's still something to do.
Job done.
Thijs has some pretty good stuff, though. He's got the Hooked Reaver because the damage will inevitably pour in. He's got the Shroom Brewer and the Twilight Drakes.
Yeah,
But it's not enough. He needs a lot to go right. And I actually think that he needs to rely on his 2 drops this game. He needs his Doomsayer and his Plated Beetle to stop the momentum for Mid-Range Hunter early.
yeah, this deck actually does have decent ways to deal with big stuff. Mainly being Hunter's Mark. Hunter's Mark can punish even Warlock very heavily because you rely on a single minion to try and stabilize the board. Doomsayer.
Yeah, this is a good draw, even if it doesn't work, because Doomsayer is just 2 mana, gains 7 life or more, depending on if they overkill it, which Hoej will, based off the hand that we see. Kill Command does preserve the board. And then what it ends up doing is it gives you ability to answer with the Hellfire right afterwards. And if they rush past you, you get closer to Hooked Reaver, the board dies, and then you can Twilight Drake. But that's what I was talking about. Thijs is very dependent on that 2 mana minion, either Doomsayer or the Plated Beetle in that position. Now Hoej has to weigh some tough questions. Do I get the damage in now? 5 damage is a lot. Or do I invest in the board, which might die anyways?
Those are some tough questions that I don't have answers to, Dan. Hoej does, but whether or not it's the correct answer is yet to be seen because...
I mean,
going over the top with Kill Command is oftentimes the way you win the game. Because eventually you will lose the board But he does have Deathstalker Rexar, so I honestly think you could just let this... I don't know.
What about halfway play? Deathstalker Rexar ensures that you have resources.
So if he lets... Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. No, I mean, I was just basically say, like, yeah, just go for it. Like, kill it, push damage. Like, it's okay if you use Kill Command. You still have Deathstalker Rexar.
Yeah, that's... I was thinking Deathstalker Rexar means that you're okay giving up a board, but it's kind of the opposite because if you let this board die, Thijs gets a free turn to build a big minion that you don't have an answer to. If he removes this board, then he spends an entire turn removing this board, and then you get more time for Deathstalker Rexar to be impactful or to pick up, say, a Hunter's Mark to go along with these Flanking Strikes. So I think Kill Command kind of a necessity there if Hoej doesn't want to let this game get out of his control.
Is it suicide to not Hellfire here because the Scavenging Hyena? Probably. I mean, Spring Paw and other rush minions are just very problematic, and Thijs is rewarded because Hoej does not have good development. His best development is to flanking strike his own Timberwolf. And that is just a very bad play. Hoej can also has to weigh if he even wants to hero power this turn, because it ends up putting Thijs within range of Hooked Reaver. And right now, Hoej does not actually have that great response to Hooked Reaver.
No.
So does he even want to hero power? Maybe he just swings with the candle shot and play Timberwolf and nothing else.
Maybe he does nothing. Maybe he passes.
Maybe he walks over to Thijs and punches him in the face. And while he's knocked out, he clicks concede for him. Oh, wow, he basically did nothing.
Dan, I'm not 100% familiar with the rules, but I'm pretty sure that's against them.
I think we need to revisit the rules then. Oh, that's a big daddy right there. Mountain Giant's pretty much as big as it gets here for Thijs, and he has a turn to set it up.
Yeah, under very little pressure, has a good amount of stabilization. The one thing that he's missing is healing. Wait, is that a Shroom Brewer tucked in there?
It is a Shroom Brewer.
Okay.
But Shroom Brewer is really good for, like, the yo-yo. You know, it's... The Hunter's like, okay, I'm going to, like, set up everything and put him at 2 life and then, like, budget my kill command. And then you clear the board and, like, Shroom Brewer, and you're like, kill command only does 3, you're at 6. And then you, like, win the next turn. Like, it's really powerful for those reasons, as well as just, you know, the general healing effect. But more importantly, the heal is what really baits some aggro decks to mismanage their resources. Oh, my goodness, Hunter's Mark.
Nailed it.
Hoej fans love to see that.
So he gave up an Animal Companion. And what was the second card? Was it second tracking? I was literally paying attention just to do that. Not that it'll matter much, but...
Yeah, I think the game might conclude well before it goes to fatigue. This is a high-pressure game. Oh, I like this. Yeah, develop the 3/3 finally.
Yeah.
And now the gates for the Hooked Reaver have already been unlocked anyways. It was Timberwolf, TJ.
Ah, Timberwolf, okay. I'm glad you remembered that, Dan.
Yes. I have a very powerful memory.
What a sharp mind.
Yeah, Mensa student, by the way. You're of such low intelligence, you don't even know what Mensa is, TJ.
Oh. What gave it away? My awkward silence? Can you explain to me and the rest of the class, Professor Frodan?
It was your bloodshot eyes, TJ, and your aloof look.
That's literally my resting state.
Yeah. Yeah, resting high face is what TJ has. All right, well, Thijs on Hunter's Mark should be okay to set up a taunt here.
Never
It's genetic, by the way. People are actually starting to question TJ's professionalism. Oh, wait, I'll White Knight for you.
Thank you.
Hoej picks up Savannah Highmane. Now that is a... Thank you, Peach. Savannah Highmane is one of Hoy's best cards in terms of top end. There's only one copy of it? There's 2 copies. So I was looking at Thijs' mid-range hunter. He has only... Thijs has 1 Highmane, Hoej has 2. I'm looking to see if there's a better play, but I don't really think so, because this helps you get set up, and it forces a reaction. So even if Thijs has the Spellbreaker, he's not developing like his Hooked Reaver, which is kind of what is the big thing in Hoy's mind right now.
Do you think about what the trades look like?
Yeah, do you want to preemptively trade here? The thing is, do you set up like a really good Defile for your opponent? And the answer is yes. Like a tap Defile Hooked Reaver play. Is that just...
You can still do that.
Is that a clear?
You can still do that.
Oh, wait, no, because it doesn't actually hit the 2.
Oh, no, yeah, you're right. It doesn't hit the 2.
Yeah, there's
because the Savannah Highmane will heal off, or will get killed off, and then it'll deal 1 damage to each of those.
No, it will. You just double trade into the high main.
Oh, yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you're right.
But then you lose your...
It puts more damage in the... Yeah, you lose the Twilight Drake in that
you lose
instance.
the Twilight Drake.
No, you'd lose the Twilight Drake anyway, because you'd have to trade into the Savannah High Main to be at 4.
Well, yeah. I was saying, like, do you want to do that play because you lose the Twilight Drake? Your opponent,
okay, I see.
So, like, let's say you defile like this right now. So you defile right now, then you trade in the Sun Fury Protector, and then you Hooked Reaver. So then you still have the taunt. This works.
This works as well. Either way, you lose your whole board and you play a Hooked Reaver. That's the end result. All right, I think it's Deathstalker Rexar time.
Yeah, I think Hoej has to punt here on his steady shot. I don't think he's getting there anymore.
You are sports references all day.
It's Sunday, okay, TJ?
Sunday. You're watching Hearthstone.
I feel like we should just explain it because I think no one understands why we're laughing. But we won't.
We won't.
All you guys should know is that we love making fun of Admirable a lot. In a good way, because he's one of our close friends,
Yes.
and he likes making fun of us too. But on broadcast, we mock him relentlessly, and it is directly making fun of him. But he can't defend himself, so we are the bad guys. We're bullies.
We are. But by golly, it's worth it.
Yes, all the armchair psychologists are correct. We didn't get enough attention. We were mocked in school, so that we take it out on other people. You are correct. All right, Thijs has Bone Mare and double 4 available this turn. Hooked Reaver number 2 is also very strong in this position, as well as even Lich King. You can make a case for a lot of plays here, and it's largely because Thijs has already crossed the threshold. Like, he's already survived the onslaught, and you can see that Hoej even values the hero power still by not transforming into Rexar, but he might not have a choice anymore. And also, the Hoej's flanking strike demonstrates that Thijs can use his healing on the Hooked Reaver, and is not worried about his life total. A little bit of a risky call, but without the kill commands, Hoej can't really get there.
That Spring Paw is a surprisingly good pickup because it allows him to take off one of these Hooked Reavers.
Yeah, needs that for sure.
Yeah, which otherwise he would not have been able to because he didn't have mana to unleash the Hounds. He wouldn't have mana to play anything from the hero power. But he's not going to play it anyway?
I think he recognizes the big picture, which is he needs that bloat bat for AoE because he knows even more pain is coming. He needs that poisonous or that lifesteal. Doesn't get any of that. Well, he does have the gastropod, but he doesn't have the bloat bat, which is the real key.
That's weird. Oh, okay. He gained 5 health with the Deathstalker Rexar. I was thinking the amount of damage on board that he was dead to a Hellfire. But yeah, this is smart because he doesn't die to anything because he gains the 5 armor from the Rexar. This also makes Unleash the Hound stronger the following turn. He was hoping to pick up something that he could pair with Unleash the Hounds to make it good, like Timberwolf plus something else. But still in a lot of trouble regardless because...
Yeah, Lich King or Bone Mare, very strong in this position. Thijs, is there any other play besides that? Don't think so. I like pushing the damage too. Damage. Wants to also have his demons die so that Blade of Gul'dan can finish and seal the deal. Hoej's last turn is coming up here. Oh, the beast.
He only has 7 mana available, so he can't get the
that's right.
That Poisonous Rush or anywhere close to it.
That's right. And with these choices, I don't think there's anything good here.
Got the Skinnerer, sweet.
It's the Swamp Leech I think he needs.
Yeah.
I don't even know what kind of adapt combination. Hoej tosses out the well played.
Well played.
Thijs advances to the semifinals 3-1 over the 2017 Spring Champion. Can this guy go even further beyond? He's already the highest earner in Hearthstone history. 2 European championships, 2 World Championship appearances.